All right, but anyway, we talked about one of the big games last weekend, or this weekend coming up on Monday, Christmas night, and that, of course, is Baltimore and San Francisco. And Rob, the other huge game of the weekend is Dallas at Miami. Both of these teams have a lot to prove. And that's one reason, Rob, this matchup is so intriguing to me, and I think to everybody, because you and I have talked about, and we're not the only ones, all year they haven't beaten good teams.
Nope.
Miami's only played 3. In fairness, they lost to Philly in Philly. They lost to Buffalo. They were pounded in Buffalo, but it was in Buffalo. And then they played the Chiefs tough, lost 21-14 at home.
They didn't get embarrassed.
Right. And they've only played 3, and they've been 3 of the best teams in the league. And like you said, they weren't embarrassed at home. The other ones were on the road. You can understand those losses. Cowboys now, Rob, 2-3 against teams with winning records after the Rams.
And the Buffalo game was the one because Buffalo was scuffling. That was for Dallas. Like Buffalo was scuffling, Chris, at that point. And they got embarrassed in Buffalo. Nobody, you could have lost in Buffalo, but you could have played a better game.
I think, Rob, for Dallas, and I agree with you that it was surprising how badly they lost that game. You and I both picked them to win, and they got shellacked. But I would say this was the game to me, and I know it was a long time ago, and Dallas did do a good job of kind of moving on, right? But the real, shocker for me that kind of, I had questions about them anyway, but when the way they got beaten by San Francisco, and it was early, I think it was week 5, maybe 4 or 5, they lost 42-10. Rob, they had been destroying everybody, looking like Micah might, remember I was talking about Micah maybe in the MVP race. And it was and that game was like, okay, nah, they really not all that. And they've played well since then, but to the point we said earlier, they're 2-3 against teams with winning records, and they have been bad on the road. I thought Calvin Watkins, as we said earlier, great. Shout out to him, Rob, Dallas Morning News reporter. He was very objective in hour number 1.
And he's covered the team for a long time. And
I give him props.
He's entrenched. He's not one of those rah-rah guy.
Nah,
he's
good.
a reporter. Chris, you've done it. I've done it. People used to say me, when I was working in Detroit, Mook, go back to New York, because they were mad at me. The Lions were losing all these games, and I was writing, what do you want me to write?
In a lot of cities,
what do you want me to write?
They are kind of, and sometimes they can be cheerleaders for the team.
Right.
Whereas in New York, it's like, we're just telling it like it is.
Right.
And so you are right. There's a difference. Not everybody that writes.
Not everybody. Yeah, right. There are tough guys around the country, but not everywhere. You're right. Yep. And they look at you crazy, like if you have something
it's
negative.
A different way of doing it.
Right.
But Rob, his point about them on the road was interesting, and there's some truth that they played good teams on the road, but they are under 500 on the road the last 2 years, Rob, and they've won 12 games last year, probably win about that much this year. And it's surprising that a team that good, none of the other teams that win that much are like 500 or lower on the road. So it does seem to be something there. But who do you think? Both of these teams have an opportunity to answer questions. Which team do you think has more to gain or lose in this weekend's matchup between the Cowboys and the Dolphins?
I think it's the Cowboys have more to lose, because I don't think people have the highest expectation for the Dolphins.
Agreed.
And I just think that, Chris, they can lose this game, and if they get in the playoffs and they can put it together and score 40 points and beat somebody, people go, oh, look what the Dolphins did. That's it. But if the Cowboys lose this again, it'll be that drumbeat, that narrative going into the postseason. Like, here's another 10, 12 wins and nothing. Like, we're not going, we're going to be one and out, one and done. Like that will be it if we play a good team. If they have to go to Detroit, I'm just saying, or whatever it is. So I think I think the Cowboys need it bad because of the expectation and because of their resume. and their resume is checkered. The Dolphins don't have a resume. What resume? There's no resume.
Well, to me, you're hitting it on the head in that this is the bottom line. We don't expect much from the Dolphins.
We don't.
I mean, they're cute. They're going to put 40 on you, maybe 70 if you don't show up that day.
Yep.
But do we really? I don't. I mean, here's a handful of people out there, I guess, Rob. But I don't have them in that championship mix. And we've talked about Dallas's deficiencies, but I think they're on the, I think right now there are 5 teams. Anything can happen in the NFL. We've seen wild cards win the Super Bowl. But if I had to name, Rob, the top 5 teams in the NFL and the best ones with the best chance of winning the Super Bowl, I'm saying Baltimore, Kansas City, San Francisco, Philly, and Dallas. I'm not saying Miami. Some are, and maybe you are. Correct?
No, I'm not.
Share your thoughts.
I don't remember where I had Miami. I wasn't like I expect them to be in the mix. Obviously, did they get my attention, Chris, when they put up a 70 piece? Yes, they did. They did because we haven't seen it in the NFL.
Right.
So that was the shocking part.
That was great, but then a lot of their other games they weren't near that.
No, I know it didn't. It didn't like sway me to think, oh my God, they're this or
right.
They're going to be that. Like I didn't feel like that, but it did catch my attention.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying they're not good. I guess what I'm saying, Rob, is to your point, if they lose this weekend at home, think about that. We're going to be like, yeah, they kind of what we thought they were, or if you thought they were better, wow, they same old Dolphins, or they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not, going to get to the Super Bowl. If Dallas loses, we just expect more, right? I mean, Dallas, I think, is a better team. Or at least, I mean, they're a more balanced team. Like Miami, we think about the offense, the flash, Tyreek.
You look at Dallas and you think they have everything that they need.
They're a full team, yes. Like to me, Rob, I talk about it. To me, their problems are their culture that trickles down from Jerry Jones. I think they have a trouble handling prosperity. When things are really going well, they kind of start getting ahead of themselves and start talking about the Super Bowl parade and here we come. And I just think that speaks of immaturity. And so when Philly was winning, what were they saying? And I know they've had their issues lately, but we got to keep getting better. We got to Baltimore, Rob, when Lamar Jackson's asked a few days ago, this is people saying this is a Super Bowl preview. He's like, man, it's December. Super Bowl's in February. What are we talking about?
He's like, right? No, I'm not buying into it.
Right. That's what mature teams do. But Dallas goes out there and hey, Cowboy Nation, baby. Super Bowl, print your tickets. Jerry's on the radio talking about taking bows. And, I mean, come on. And look, maybe you can win that way here or there. But I just don't think that culture is really conducive unless you just overwhelmingly have all the best players to winning at the biggest level consistently. And those are my problems with Dallas, Rob. But when I think about Miami, I got issues with, is the defense as good as some of these top teams? No. Is Tua, is he, like a Patrick Mahomes level? I don't think so. You got other issues. Whereas with Dallas, to me, it's more between the ears. It's not anything I'm saying they really lack on the field.
No, they have everything. And that's why people like yours truly picked them. I looked at the landscape. I'm thinking if you could, with a defense, Chris, whenever you have a defense, you have a chance to win every time you go out there. And that's a big part. And we see it with Baltimore. Like the defense makes a difference. And if they can just put it together finally, and they just haven't been able to do that. And they don't have to win every game against a good team.
Exactly.
Or if you split, that's all. If you split, Chris, okay, we lost in Philly, but we beat Philly and Dallas. You know what I mean? That's what you're looking for.
Is there something, what would you like to see? I know you're not going to change your pick no matter what.
Yeah, no.
But what would you like to see to, feel better about them as far as being a Super Bowl pick?
beating some good teams on the.
I mean, like this game,
like if they could beat Miami.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean.
One.
Like I would like to see that.
Yeah. To go there and win there, Miami's very good at home, 6-1. And they run the ball, and so that's what I'm looking at. Is like, how do they play against this run? Because we've seen like when San Francisco and Buffalo ran on them, it was like power running. You know, that's not really what Miami does. Miami is speed and, you know, cute stuff and all that. And that's what they are. They are fast. And so it'll be interesting. Dallas, usually they're a smaller defense that's speedy. And so sometimes they can be kind of just, they're too small sometimes for some of these teams. I don't think that'll necessarily be the case this weekend. So I want to see that matchup, although I do think Miami will be able to run on them, and I've picked them to win this game. But it's going to be a great matchup.